Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are in a 2023 Acura MDX Technology Package front-wheel drive model, and we are test driving this beauty. This car is a very nice car to drive. The MDX Technology Package has the standard 3.5 liter V6, which is an engine that Acura has used for a long time, and it's always been a very good engine, but it's becoming a bit of an anomaly in the class because it's one of the few, if not almost the only, naturally aspirated engine available in kind of a luxury mid-sized SUV. Most of this car's competitors come with typically 4-cylinder turbos as their base engines, and then you usually have a 6-cylinder turbo available as an upgrade. You can get an MDX Type S, which will give you a 6-cylinder turbo with 355 horsepower and 354 torque, but this is just the regular V6, 3.5 liters, 290 torque, 267 horsepower. It's a great engine. It's super smooth, very, very refined. It's funny, it does, if you're a very aggressive driver, it does feel like it is lacking in torque, which the numbers back up compared to some of the turbocharged competitors, but you really only notice it if you floor the throttle from a dead stop. Other than that, this engine is very, very good. And it's definitely proven technology, and there are some people out there who are not in love with the idea of a turbocharged engine for whatever reason. So if that's you, this is a great option for you because this engine will do what you need it to do. But the newer turbo units do give you a little bit better low-end torque. Other than that, this car is just kind of a nice, relaxing car to drive. It's definitely aimed at a mainstream market, so nothing extreme either way. Once you move into the Type S with the twin turbo, or excuse, it's just a single turbo, twin scroll turbo V6, and the standard super handling all-wheel drive, that one does feel a little bit sportier. This is just very balanced. The handling is good, but it's not the sharpest handling SUV in the world, but you have very nice ride comfort to go with it. The cabin is quiet. There's no squeaks or rattles to speak of. It's very, very well put together, and it's just a nice, relaxing place to be. The Acura MDX lays claim to be the best-selling luxury sport utility vehicle with 3 rows of seats in maybe the whole world, but at least in the US market. So, and the third row in this vehicle is actually usable for children or smaller people. I'm 6'5", so I look at the third row and I think no, but you do have leg room even with the second row seat set all the way back, so you could put kids or people who are not that tall back there. So it is a mid-sized SUV with a usable third row, and that does put it in kind of family vehicle status. So considering that, I think it drives almost perfectly for what it needs to do for its mission in life, you know. Obviously, Acura knows the market very well if they've managed to sell more luxury SUVs with 3 rows of seats than anybody else. And they knew what they were doing when they put this together. That's nice. The V6 gives you a nice, classy, you can tell it's comes from the same company that made the NSX. It gives you a very nice sporty sound, and it pulls very well at the top end. The speedometer in this vehicle is set to kilometers per hour, just for the record. This car is the front-wheel drive MDX. It is available with super handling all-wheel drive, but even in front-wheel drive, the handling is relatively neutral. The super handling all-wheel drive is a really cool system because the rear differential is pretty advanced. It's got clutch packs in there, so it does the torque vectoring through the differential, which is almost unique in the class. Most vehicles in this class claim to have torque vectoring, but they typically use the analog braking system to do it, which is kind of cheesy. If you're a serious car nerd like myself, you can appreciate that the differential does it as opposed to the ABS system. But even with front-wheel drive, this car does handle very well. If you feel like the all-wheel drive is not an extra $2,000 that you want to spend because you don't really need it, it still drives fine without it, but it will drive a little bit better with it. Very accurate steering feel as well. Let's take it on the highway just for fun. Give it the beans. Oh, yeah. I do love the way this engine sounds. That's nice. This would be a great road trip car too, because somehow, it's hard to describe it. It feels very good driving around town, but it almost feels better on the highway. Like this is sort of its natural habitat. A family road trip wagon. That's 67 miles per hour-ish. 65. To give you an idea of refinement, very little wind noise, some tire noise, but overall a very quiet cabin. At cruising speed, you can barely hear the engine. Let's see, 70 miles an hour, turning about 1750 RPM out of the engine. That's that 10-speed automatic, so you know, obviously you can hear the engine when you floor it, but when you're just cruising, you don't really hear it. Very accurate steering, nice steering feel. I would say above average for the class on that. Overall, just a very nice car to drive. It's really difficult to come up with complaints about this car. For the type of person who is going to buy one of these and use it as a daily driver, I think they've pretty well nailed it for what that customer would typically be looking for, or what that buyer or client or whatever you want to call them. Hit the brakes. Brakes feel nice. No issues there. Let's see, what do I want to do here? We'll keep going. Someday, we will have no more naturally aspirated engines. So it's always nice to drive a new car with a naturally aspirated engine, because they're going away. I don't think BMW's offered anything without a turbo since probably 2013. I think Mercedes is all turbo. Honda / Acura is one of the very last companies to get into the turbo business for their road cars. Weirdly, in the 80s, they were incredibly masterful with turbos in Formula One, so it's not like a technology that they didn't have experience with, but they've just recently started putting them in the road cars, and I'm sure the next time this thing gets redesigned, if it's not all electric or hybrid or whatever, it'll probably have a 4-cylinder turbo at some point. But for now, it's got a V6, and it's a very good engine. And it's got very nice steering, and it's a nice, I mean, MDX is, you can't go wrong with an MDX. It's a very competitive class, and there's a lot of very nice cars in this class. But I think if you compare this car to a lot of its rivals, especially the German ones, there's some very good value here as far as what you get standard and how much lower the base price is. And then if you move up to the higher level MDXs, then you sort of end up in the range of a base, or a base with a few options on like an X5, but you're still getting more for your money with the Acura. So it's worth a look. It's a nice car to drive. That's pretty much all I have to say. I like it. I like driving it. It's good. So, with all that being said, thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, give it a thumbs up, whatever, and have a great day. Bye-bye. It's me. Hi. I'm the problem. It's me. At T.